save your aluminum cans and bring them to the tower sign.
From the news station, wnep-tv 16, Frank Andrews, Dorothy Lucey, meteorologist Noreen Clark in the backyard, and Jay Kristopher's sports. This is Newswatch 16 Midday.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Stevens in for Frank Andrews. In the news at this hour, Centralia and the results of voting there as the people decide what they want while the battle against a mine fire goes on.
And I'm Dorothy Lucey in Wyoming. Did you know that mouthwash has an awful lot of alcohol in it? Could this alcohol fool a breathalyzer test? Mike, in just a minute, we'll test the test.
All right, Dorothy. In Centralia, the people have voted to leave their homes to the fire and the efforts to put it out. The mine fire in town has been burning now for more than 2 decades. One government report says if it continues, it will not only destroy Centralia, but 2 nearby towns as well. The blaze has defied all efforts to put it out over the years. The most likely plan to stop it now is a trench that will literally chew up the middle of Centralia. So the choice that faced several hundred property owners was to stay and face what will probably happen to their town, or to ask that they be allowed to leave. Thursday, they voted, and they said by a nearly 2-to-1 margin that they want to get out. Bob Constantini was there to hear the outcome.
Before news cameras and gathered townspeople, Mayor John Wondolowski reads the results.
200 voted to stay, 345 voted to relocate.
That's 63% of the property owners who voted favoring relocation away from the mine fire.
The council will forward all of this to the state and federal governments. The Borough Council, I think, is bound by this vote by the people of Centralia, and this is the recommendation they're going to make.
The borough, along with state and federal agencies, must ask Congress for money to buy out what is now Centralia. If that money is granted, Councilmember Molly Dara hopes Centralians will stay together.
I would like to see the town together. I'd like to live here if possible. If not, I would like to see another Centralia put together.
Now that the vote is cast, officials will decide on a plan for moving Centralia's people and present it to Congress. This has been going on for 21 years. The vote seems to indicate that the mine fire and life with it have finally caught up with the people here. Bob Constantini, Newswatch 16, Centralia.
Throughout most of Thursday, the people of Centralia talked very little to the media, but last night, once the votes had been cast, they opened up a bit, and our Craig Stevens was one of those they spoke to.
I figured that was going to happen. People are just fed up.
How do you feel?
And I feel good because I'd be right where they were going to put the trench. I voted to relocate.
I think they should relocate the people that want to go. If the people want to stay, leave them stay.
Did you vote today?
Yes.
And how did you vote?
I vote to stay.
It really doesn't make that much of a difference because we're determined to stay regardless of what the vote is.
I'm glad about it. I'd love to relocate because this is ridiculous.
What's ridiculous?
This whole situation. They could have done something about it long ago. How you going to live here with dynamite blasting and health problems?
I feel that they should have moved the town to another place.
How about you?
Me too, because we're going to lose all our friends.
I'm upset. I voted to stay because that is what I would like to do. I'm disappointed that more people didn't turn out, first of all, to voice their opinion in either direction, and second of all, I'm very disappointed that more people didn't vote to try and save Centralia.
Well, considering I counted them, and I'm glad with the results, because I have 2 children, and eventually it will get to the point where the town will be unlivable.
Well, I voted to stay, so I was a little disappointed. But I could feel for the people at the other end of town where we're on the cool side. We're not in the immediate area of the fire.
Now that a majority of Centralia residents have told the state and federal governments they're ready to move out and that they don't want to battle problems with the 21-year-old mine fire anymore, it will be up to Uncle Sam to decide what will be done here. Until then, the people of Centralia are hoping this vote won't further divide their town. Craig Stevens, Newswatch 16, Centralia.
Cleanup goes on this midday in southeastern Pennsylvania, where a tornado and thunderstorms injured 25 and did millions in damage Thursday. Lehigh, Northampton, and Chester counties were the hardest hit. At one point, 250,000 people were without power because of the storms. One spokesman called it the most devastation ever to hit the Lehigh Valley. At the Allentown-Bethlehem Easton Airport, a tornado ripped through, damaging 20 aircraft and 15 hangars. The estimate in loss is around $4 million. Winds at ABE hit 92 miles an hour at one point during the storm. Then the instruments were blown away. Still ahead, we'll take a close-up look at breathalyzers police use to pin drunk drivers.
Newswatch 16 is everywhere.
One of the tools police use to combat the crime of drunk driving is a breathalyzer machine. But that device and its use has come under question in a class action suit filed in state court. The suit alleges that the breathalyzer test is too inaccurate to be used to prosecute drunk drivers. So with that background, we turn now to Dorothy Lucey, live at the State Police Barracks in Wyoming. She'll show us how a breathalyzer works and get some opinions on its use. Dorothy?
Mike, hold your breath and face arrest. If a policeman stops you for drunk driving, tells you to breathe in here, you better do it. If not, you face getting your license suspended. This is a breathalyzer. It's the machine that uses to tattletale on how much you've had to drink. Some people in Pittsburgh say this machine lies, and they have filed a lawsuit. We're at the Wyoming State Police Barracks with Trooper George Kwok. Trooper, Trooper, this is the same machine that they use in Pittsburgh. Do you believe this machine is accurate?
I do. It's extremely accurate.
How do you know?
Well, we've never had any cause to doubt it. We've never had a problem.
Now, out in Pittsburgh, they're saying the police radio waves, which I'm sure are throughout this building, mess up this machine and give it a false reading. What do you say about that?
This set has been modified to protect against interference from radio waves.
We are going to show how this breathalyzer machine works, and while we do, make sort of a short, semi-scientific test of it. Now, this is just plain ordinary mouthwash. You might not know this, but there's 26.9% alcohol in here. Now, I took some of this 20 minutes ago, and I just gargled, but gargling is a lot different than drinking and being drunk. Now, while I go ahead and take the test, why don't you explain why I had to do this 20 minutes ago?
Well, whenever someone is brought in, we require that for 20 minutes upon their arrival, they cannot eat, drink, or smoke, so not in any way to interfere with the test.
Okay, and we will wait for just a moment to see if, in fact, the gargling registered as me having a drink. Now, just tell me, how do you know when someone has been drinking? When they get out of their car, what do you do to just make sure that they actually are drunk?
Well, we check over general physical appearance, and what we observe first is slurred speech, the physical characteristics, and prior to this, the way they've been operating their vehicle, such as a very slow rate of speed.
While we're waiting for the results of my breathalyzer test, let me just hop over the fence for a second and ask you a question. Standing on your side of the fence, what if these machines are taken away? What if the court decides that they're not accurate? What is that going to do to you in arresting drunk drivers?
Well, we'll still be arresting drunk drivers. We did it prior to having the machines, and there's no reason why we can't do without them.
But how do you prove that they're drunk if you don't have the machine?
Well, just like I said before, by their physical characteristics, we could get a coordination test, and we'd have to revert. This would definitely be a step backward.
Now, while we're waiting for this machine to process my results, you told me that you think just from drinking the mouthwash, I will get some sort of reading. How do you distinguish between someone who just gargled and ran out the door and someone who has been drinking? Oh, here's the result. Let's see.
Well, according to this, there's no reading at all.
Oh, well, okay then. That is at least a small test. This machine has been challenged, and that's at least one small test of saying that it may work, but it remains to be seen if it stands up in court. Mike?
Thank you, Dorothy. Now, in Wilkes-Barre this midday, you can take advantage of a craft show to while away a summer afternoon. 17 artists will exhibit on the square today and Saturday. The outing, sponsored by a number of Wilkes-Barre groups, will give folks a chance to see what local people in the arts and crafts fields are doing. You can also buy a few things if you like. It doesn't look like a good day for a fair, does it? No, it's not that bad. Noreen Clark will be here in just a little bit to give us the brighter side of the weather.
By George, the telethon is coming!
We've got a solid gold forecast for you for the weekend. And to give it to you, outside, Noreen Clark. Noreen?
Thank you, Mike. Outside right now, we have a drizzle that is bound to frizzle the hair. This morning, I got caught in a shower and was able to hear the thunder. Right now, the backyard is misty with a frazzling drizzle. Let's check the current readings outside. And here in the backyard, it is 65 degrees. The relative humidity is 85%. The winds are out of the northwest at 5 miles per hour, and the barometric pressure is on the rise. Let's check Skywarn radar 30 nautical mile scan, and we can see some of the little radar echoes that are causing the drizzle that are right over my head right now. It is a patchy drizzle right to the south. There is nothing, possibly a few scattered showers down here. Basically, this is a dry scan. Let's check the satellite picture taken this morning, giving us a bird's eye view of what was going on. Bright clouds extending from Pennsylvania into New York State with some showers and some thunder showers. Bright clouds were also over New England. High and mid-level clouds with some thunderstorms over the lower Mississippi Valley. The storm that brought us the heavy, steady rain yesterday afternoon and some showers this morning was centered right over the northeastern portion of Pennsylvania this morning. As it's moving out to the east, we have some leftover patchy drizzle areas and possibly some still leftover areas of showers still to the west. And up to the northwest, we have a high-pressure area that's going to move toward the southeast during the weekend. It's going to improve our weather, bring us some sunshine, comfortable temperatures, and bring us a very nice dry weekend. And if you're heading to the shore, this is the shore forecast. A partly sunny Saturday with a high temperature around 75 degrees. On Sunday, it will live up to its name with a high temperature near 80 degrees. Ocean temperatures will be a rather cool 68 degrees, refreshing though. So the weekend looks fairly nice. An improvement over what we've had over the last 2 days. And here's how I see the forecast. Mainly cloudy this afternoon. You may see a shower or some drizzle. Other than that, just clouds. Afternoon temperatures will be near 70 degrees. Overnight, it will become partly cloudy with an overnight low of 57 degrees, pardon me. Partly sunny for tomorrow with it continued cool, the high temperature 76 degrees. Sunday is going to live up to its name and be very nice, sunny with a high of 81 degrees. And Monday looks fair with mainly sunny weather, the high temperature 81 degrees. So Mike, I hope you have plans for this weekend because the weather is going to cooperate.
I most certainly do, Noreen, and you have yourself a nice weekend, you hear?
Thank you.
Take care. Well, still ahead, Jay Kristopher talks about sports.
Everything from whitewater to black powder to beavers, biking, and bows. From copperheads to whitetails to casting, calling, and crows. You'll see stalking fish, fixing poles, rainbow trout, and snowy owls. Setting traps, drilling holes, earthworms, and waterfowls. Whether you're a fan of the Eagles, Browns, Bears, or Giants, or of Joe and Stan and the Mountain Man, or some Tom Duck or Harry, watch hiking, frying, riding, tying, skiing, and flying on Pennsylvania Outdoor Life, Saturday at 7.
Let's check the Major League scoreboard. First of all, we'll take a look at the American League. It was Milwaukee over Toronto, 6-4. New York eased by Detroit, 6-5. Elsewhere in the American League action overnight, Kansas City at Boston. They were rained out there. Chicago 9-3, downing the Baltimore Birds. Elsewhere, Oakland shuts out Minnesota and the Twins 6-0. In the National League, Chicago 10-5, doubling up on St. Louis. Los Angeles just barely by Cincinnati 4-3. And Atlanta defeats San Francisco 6-4, while Houston takes San Diego 5-1. If you're homebound and you're waiting for the NFL season to begin, 3 preseason games on ABC tonight. New York Giants at Pittsburgh, and tomorrow, Cincinnati, Washington, Green Bay, Seattle. Can winter's chill be far off?
No problem is too small for Mike Igo and Action 16.
Well, that is the news for this midday. We expect some pretty good weather over the weekend and hope you enjoy it. We invite you to join us here for Newswatch 16 at 6 tonight. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.